Hello, lovely beings. Welcome to today's episode of the Autumn Mindset. 'Tis I, your host and mindset guide, Autumn Oakley. So today's episode, I want to talk about, are you addicted to the struggle? And are you limiting the abundance that's trying to come into your life? Man, life is a journey, isn't it? And I think a lot of the time we fall into this way of living, this perception that's been built into society that we need to struggle to manifest change. We need to fall into the struggle of things to create the life we want to be living. And, this comes down to how we've just approached life forever, doing, following these routines, doing more to receive more in regards to finances, being more of a person to gain a new type of connection with someone. We are always focused on the doing. We're always focused on the direction. We're always focused in the mind of needing to know, needing to pursue. And I think just sometimes unconsciously we fall into this state that we become addicted to the struggle. We become addicted to what we've come to know. And this is just a part of how we're wired as humans. Our subconscious mind, our mind in general, it just loves patterns. It loves what it's come to know, even if it is not benefiting us in the financial sense, in our mental health, in our connections. We often fall into the same repetitive patterns until we're willing to face that truth of ourselves and our reality to embrace that change. So it's in us understanding that sometimes we can fall into the addiction of struggle. And it's in this. I'm standing up because that rock really hurts my butt. And we're filming outside today. We're at the beach in Mexico, and it's absolutely divine, absolutely lovely. And I'm so grateful to connect with you on this podcast today, in this present moment, and to share my unique perspective in regards to the struggle of life. And life can be a struggle. I think we need to face fact with that. But I think a lot of the time we become addicted to it. I think we fall into these patterns, these states of perception that to manifest something better, to live a life of inner peace, to do all of these things, we need to be doing more, being more, falling into the struggle to push through the other side of the resistance that we face of ourselves and the challenges that are presented in our reality to manifest something better on the other side. And yes, to an extent, this is true. You need to do what's uncomfortable. You need to do what's unfamiliar. But there comes a moment when you have to face fact. Looking at your life, are you just repeating the same pattern of struggle? And this is something I have been trying to heal for the last year. And man, it has been a journey. Quite honestly, it's something that has been passed down my family for generations, and it's just a big part of what's been built into society. Always falling into burnout, always needing to do more, to be more. In just trying to build my business, I just was creating all these businesses at once, having my hands dipped into all these different jars, and while they all brought me joy and while they all are a part of my abilities and creative pursuits, it was in getting real honest with myself to say, why am I addicted to this struggle? Why am I not manifesting results, success? Why am I not feeling abundant in these creations? Why am I not feeling uplifted in energy? Why am I manifesting a lot of the same experiences, even though I'm tired, even though I'm struggling, even though I'm doing more? I'm trying to manifest more. I'm showing up every day. And this is what it's about. We become addicted to the struggle of life. We become addicted to what we've come to know. And a lot of that is, just what's been built into society for generations. So it's in really facing the honest truth with yourself to say, am I manifesting a lot of the same, but it's leading me into, ill health of the mind, of the body? Is it leading me into burnout in my energy? Is it leading me into these thought patterns, these limiting beliefs that are telling me that I'm not good enough, I can't pursue these things? What is it that you're manifesting in regards to this struggle that keeps repeating in your life? But it's in asking yourself that question, what is repeating in your life, and looking at your life as a mirror reflection of yourself, the actions you're taking, the beliefs you're holding on to, what is actually in your reality in accordance to yourself. Do you set boundaries, or are you attracting what is leading you to deplete your energy of overexhausting yourself because you don't set boundaries? We're human. This is a part of life, but it is in looking at your life as a mirror to understand that everything comes back to you that you start to become aware of what needs to shift in your life and of yourself. What of yourself needs to be healed, and what is it you're attracting into your life? Because when we don't heal certain traumas, we often mirror that in our relationships. We are attracted to certain things of certain people to help support us in that emotional state, to help us feel whole in that way. And it doesn't mean you're not whole, and it doesn't mean that you're not amazing, but naturally, when we go through trauma, when we have things to heal, we mirror that in our relationships a lot of the time until we're willing to face them in becoming aware of them and making that change and healing those wounds of ourself, that you will start to see that you stop attracting that into your life. Also, you're no longer attracted to those things. And that can be the simple thing of, the struggle that you keep manifesting into your life in regards to your relationships, and perhaps, what it is you're attracting. Are you always attracting someone who's cheating on you? There's a reason for that. There's something to address of yourself, of why you're attracting this type of relationship, why you're attracting someone who does this, who is okay with this, even if it is, something that you can't always perceive. Perhaps, yes, you have a deep connection. Perhaps, yes, I would hope there's a deep connection, there's love there. But if someone is always cheating in all of the relationships that you are attracting to your life, there is an element of themselves that they need to address and face, because they're going to have to take those actions. But there is something that you are attracting into your life that is aligned with that is attracting this thing that we can't always see in someone. We can't always see that they're going to react in this way at a different period of time. So it's for us to really get real uncomfortable with ourselves, to understand that sometimes until we heal things, we actually manifest a lot of struggle. Until we're willing to face the truth of ourselves, we unconsciously become addicted to the struggle in our lives. We become addicted to, this fire that we feel in our connections, that, we have a passion, we are twin flames, we have, this deep connection, but then it fades out. They cheat, they leave, whatever it is that's repeating. There's an answer there, something to face of yourself. And that is often the thing we need to face. What is repeating in your life? Because there's an answer there. So the struggle that we continue to face, whether that is in your relationships, whether that is in your career, whether that is your approach in life, whether that is the relationship you hold with yourself, your finances, your family dynamics, whatever is repeating your life is the thing we need to look at. Okay, we're back. Sorry, I was just interrupted by somebody who wanted to tell me how beautiful I was. I don't always like those connections. And it's nothing bad. I had a wonderful connection. I was like, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. But I always have this trigger with that. I always have this wound. I don't always like that interaction. I'm just here filming, trying to do my podcast. And while I always love to connect with people, those moments just always make me energetically uncomfortable. And that is something that is a perfect example for this podcast. Are we addicted to the struggle? Are we attracting certain things all the time? And yes, life is always going to pose what's unknown into your life, and we are not going to have control about what's presented a lot of the time. But it isn't taking a moment just like this of self-reflection to understand that, hey, you know what? That situation, it ended really short. I handled it appropriately. They seemed okay. That's fine. But in some situations, when that manifests, it's something that, if I don't set boundaries, if I don't step into that inner authority, if I don't really hold that energy of myself to end those conversations, to say, wonderful, I appreciate that, I hope you have a wonderful day, then it continues. And this is the part of struggle and the things that we manifest into our lives and how they relate to you. Because when you're embodying your authentic energy, when you were uplifted in spirits, when you were trying to, be a light for people, to inspire people, people are always drawn to you. People will always, find, that intriguing, just for the sense that, you have an energy about you. They want to know more. They want to know who you are. How are you embodying this energy? Who is it that you are? And this comes back to the struggle that we often feel addicted to a lot of the time. Hello. So, we're no longer at the beach. So, in filming that, I went ahead to switch spots, and on the other side of a rock was someone else trying to connect with me. And I went ahead just to leave the situation, leave that energy, do some self-reflection, And I'm sharing this because I feel like this is the perfect moment that I always like to talk about in regards to presence, understanding what's coming up in our lives, what it is that's repeating that we need to address. And it's exactly what I was just talking about. What's repeating? Within 10 minutes, somebody had come up to, approach me in regards to my looks. And I set boundaries with that. I was, saying, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Lovely to connect with you. Had a little fist bump. They went on their way. That interaction ended. I set boundaries with that. I went ahead to kind of move from that spot because they were staring at me, and to kind of set boundaries with that as well, to leave where I was, to go on the other side of the rock there to the ocean. And on the other side of the rock was somebody trying to connect with me almost instantly on the same circumstance, where I'm from, on my looks. And I set boundaries with that. That one was a little more intense, and then I just completely left the rock. And I sat with that to say, okay, me trying to film this podcast in this space and this energy, it wasn't working. It was putting me in a space that, one, I wasn't focused on the podcast. Two, it made me very uncomfortable. And I did some self-reflection. I grounded myself. I went for a swim in the ocean, and then I went ahead to walk. And now I'm here. Just outside, walking back to my space. And in this, I think this was maybe a part of what I was meant to share. The things that are repeating in our lives. In that self-reflection, I think maybe that is something that had to be shared that I was avoiding, perhaps. In regards to stepping into our inner authority is also saying that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to speak your mind. It's not always about a wound. It's not always about a trauma. I wasn't attracting that into my life in accordance to, a past wound or anything. But that circumstance approaching and presenting itself in my reality and in life was for me to set boundaries with that, and understanding that, I don't resonate with that anymore. I really don't like that approach with my connections with people. When people approach you just based on your looks, I don't care what your gender is. I don't care, in regards to that sense. It's not about that. It's understanding that there's depth to people. And that really did trigger me. And especially because it happened twice in 10 minutes. That is kind of what was repeating. I think it was something that maybe perhaps I meant to share on this podcast if it helps anyone. In understanding that stepping into our inner authority doesn't mean we need to come from a space of, being hurtful to say, get out of my space. It isn't to say because I'm a female, it isn't to kind of fall into that mindset of things. But it's to come to an awareness that it is okay to say no. It is okay to remove yourself. It is okay to state what you're feeling in that moment. Perhaps that is something someone needs to hear. If they don't listen to you, leave the situation. And that's kind of what happened. The first situation, I set my boundaries to kind of say great, I appreciate that. That's not really something I'm interested in discussing. I hope you have a great day. They ended that. We did a fist bump. They went on their way. Then I went on the other side of the mountain, and it did not manifest in that way. It was aggressive. They weren't listening to my boundaries, and I completely left the mountain, went to the other side of the beach to have a swim, to cleanse, to relax and ground myself and my nervous system, and to do some self-reflection. And that's what it means a lot of the time. It's what's repeating is the lesson we need. What is repeating doesn't always have to do with a wound, something you need to heal of yourself. And I think we can fall into that as well, is that when we're addicted to struggle, we can also fall into this perception we're addicted to healing. We're addicted to fixing the wounds. We're addicted to, healing past trauma. And that is the self-reflection we need a lot of time. What is repeating in our life is a lesson. There's an element for us to bring our awareness to do some self-reflection and understand that you setting boundaries, you speaking and what makes you feel comfortable, it's okay to step into your inner authority. It is okay to give yourself your empowerment back. And this is something I do with my business, something I talk about all the time. And this is something I struggled with for most of my life. And that was a self-reflection I took into every area of my life over the years, over the decades, in my relationships, in my careers, in how I showed up in life. I had no self-love. I had no self-empowerment. I had no inner authority in that sense. So that really is, coming to that reflection and understanding like maybe someone needs to hear this on this podcast. And this is something that I have stepped into and I have mastered over the years. It is okay to step into your inner authority in that way, because we attract in accordance to who we are a lot of the time. We attract in accordance to the actions we take, the self we embody. So when we're not saying no, when we're just allowing people to kind of approach us in ways without us saying, you know what, this is not me, please leave my space. It isn't rude. Sometimes you going ahead to say the first thing to say, that's not something I wish to talk about, and doing that sense, that's okay. I think that's like a really great perspective shift to have in life. It's like stepping into your empowered self, stepping into your inner authority is often going to present itself in your life for you to overcome those limitations. For you to understand that you stepping into that energy, it's going to attract certain people. It's going to attract certain energies, certain situations, for you to address things of yourself, to overcome those, but also to present that lesson, that energy, that perspective that, you know, sometimes people need in their self-reflection if they so choose to embark on that journey of self-reflection, of inner work, of healing, of addressing how they approach situations, people, and of life. And it's not to say anything bad about how the situations come about. It's not to say that how somebody approaches you, just talking about your looks, is a bad thing, but that doesn't resonate with me. I love to connect with people on a deep level, and that really is what it means to step into your authority, to say, like, you know, it's okay to say, I don't like this. I don't want you to approach me in that way about my looks. I don't know you. I hope you have a great day. We connected for some reason. You know, I wish you well. If you need advice on something, perhaps there's something I can share with you. And if not, please allow me to be on my way. And that's what it means to step into your inner authority. You're going to attract things that are unexpected. You're going to attract certain situations, certain connections, and it's for you to address things of yourself and to present that opportunity for other people to look at their self and their approach to life. So, getting back into today's episode with the noise in the background, not the energy I was hoping for, but you know what? We're pushing through. We're doing the thing we're going to do. We're filming the podcast, regardless of what kind of presented itself. And this is also a self-reflection of me and addressing my environments and, you know, coming to a space that, you know, I need to get back to filming podcasts inside in a rented space, whatever it may be. I'm going to be going ahead to do that in the future, because while I love to connect with people, while I love to be outside, and I get a lot of creativity in the flow of things, environment is everything. And it's in me coming to space, like, if I really want to be intentional to help people, like, and plan out these podcasts, like, I need to be intentional in that time. I can't always, you know, go from one space to the other, being interrupted by people, by bugs flying in your face, all these different things. It's not to say, like, you can't do that in time. It's not to say, like, anything bad with that. Like, that's what the vlogs are for. That's what YouTube vlogs are for. But in filming this podcast, oh my God, there's a bug on my head. That's what I mean. This is not going well. Sometimes it's okay to say, like, things are not going as planned. Am I addicted to the struggle? Let's get back into the episode. And quite honestly, I think this is the perfect podcast example, vlog, if you will, to kind of show and display, like, I think I'm addicted to the struggle in that sense. It's like I make things overcomplicated. I like to follow the flow, the energy of things, but, like, sometimes, you know, having that mindset isn't always going to manifest that energy, that intention. With the podcast, let's be real, they're filmed inside for a reason. Also, you can't always have background music because it's going to get flagged. So yes, I'm in nature and it's really just ocean sounds and waves and car honks, but there's interruption, there's distraction. And while I love doing this podcast outside, I think that is the self-reflection I need to shift out of, creating a little more structure in my life in regards to coming out of the struggle, coming out of these perceptions I've been healing for the past few months about where my mind leads me into overextending my energy, overextending myself in my business, overextending myself in direction, in all of these things that have just been built into, like, my experience in the past and in society in general, is that we make things so overcomplicated and we manifest that experience. We manifest that struggle. thinking that we're getting somewhere when nothing's really manifesting. Life does not have to be that complicated. Life is really to come to a space of presence and awareness. And it's when we can step into that embodiment of ourself, that energy, you begin to experience that manifest in life in general. So that is a big step of being aware and being honest with yourself to say, am I addicted to the struggle? Am I addicted to making things overcomplicated? Am I addicted to relationships that, start off all hot and heavy, but they, kind of explode? They kind of implode in that way. What is it I'm holding on to of what's repeating in my life, my reality, what I'm co-creating in life that I need to address of myself? What is it that I believe? What is it that I've experienced in the past that I'm re-experiencing? And that will come to different areas of your life, in your relationships, in your business, your approach, your mindsets, your habits. Getting real intentional, real uncomfortable to bring the focus back to you and addressing where am I struggling in life and why? Because it all comes back to you. It's all in accordance to you. You're the co-creator of your reality. We can't always say or know exactly what's going to come up in life. We're always going to be posed challenges and things to overcome. Things are going to present themselves in unexpected ways. But it's for us to understand everything is being presented to us in the moment it's meant to. And it has a purpose. It has a purpose. And I know. That's triggering. I know. That sucks to hear sometimes. And at different stages in your life, it really, really sucks to hear. You don't want to hear that. And I get that. I've been through different stages of my life. I really hated hearing that. I love hearing it now. I really treat life as a mirror. I look at my life, I treat it as a mirror, and it helps me in every area of life. It helps me come out of struggle in my mindsets, the self-love I'm not giving to myself, how I approach situations and people. Me experiencing life and treating it as the mirror that it often is, because everything is co-creating in accordance to you, it really just shifts the experience you have in life. It shifts your life. It manifests different things into your life, different connections, different opportunities. So when we go ahead to really get intentional and get real uncomfortable to say, am I addicted to the struggle, and what areas of my life? Get intentional with that. Sit with that feeling. Really just draw your awareness, your focus to that. And in time, if you keep asking that question, there will come truth. There will come awareness in that of what it is you need to shift of yourself and your reality, and for you to make those changes in life. And watch as the universe brings in elevated things. New connections that no longer align with a past version of yourself, that you were attracting some connection that perhaps was more karmic, that perhaps, had a certain wound, that, perhaps they were emotionally unavailable. Whatever it is you were attracting and you noticed there was a repetitive pattern, watch as that shifts when you address that of yourself. The beliefs, the love you hold for yourself. When you decide that you deserve better, the universe works with you. You co-create in this reality. And that's how I view life. I view life as a mirror. I view life as we don't always know what's going to come forth in our life and our reality, but it's for us to choose. We have free will for that reason. It's for us to decide if we want to change, shift our perspective, address things of ourselves and of our reality for us to experience that change. So in coming out of the struggle of things, that is for us to gain awareness that sometimes we're addicted to struggle. Sometimes it's just what we've come to know. And you hear this all the time with healing and with trauma, is that if you grew up in chaos, that's what you know. And a lot of the time, that is what you continue to manifest and attract into your life, because that's comfortable to your nervous system. And that sucks. And I went through that for decades, and I could never understand why I couldn't leave, chaos, struggle, all of these repetitive patterns. I didn't know how to leave these situations, why they kept presenting themselves in my life. But it was for me to understand it's what I came to know. Sometimes we're unconsciously addicted to the struggle, the chaos of things, and it's not because we're addicted to our awareness of that, but our nervous system, our subconscious mind knows what it knows. It knows from our experiences. So what it's come to know is chaos, is struggle for us to achieve something, to get out of a situation. What it has come to know is often what it deems as comfortable, as the same, as familiar. It's really just understanding that, your nervous system really just likes what's become familiar. Your subconscious mind likes patterns of what it's come to know. So it's in us really getting intentional to say, like, what area of my life am I struggling in? And really facing that, really going deep and facing that truth, bringing awareness to different things that you will recognize, like, what it is you need to shift of yourself in your life for you to experience that change. And it is a beautiful thing. And I can tell you, you will see how fast the universe works with you. You'll see how fast shifts come about in your life, your reality, your mental health, your physical health, how you view life, a shift in your mindset, your connections of what you're attracting, who you're connecting with, the opportunities coming in for you, the financial abundance. When you address things in full intention, when you address things and not just make a choice, but decide that this is me, this is who I am, this is what I deserve, this is what I'm looking to change, I am no longer going to struggle in this way, and I decide that, you look for answers to come out of that struggle. And the universe works with you just as quick. I view that life is a mirror. I view that you're a co-creator in this reality. It is like a constant life of pursuit and surrendering to what is being presented, because it's manifesting, it's coming into your experience, into your mirror, into your life for a reason, a purpose, a lesson, some wisdom, perhaps deep connection, perhaps, it is what you're looking to manifest, whatever it is. Things will come into your life in accordance to you. So it is in you addressing these things, the struggle that you perhaps are continuously bringing forth in your life, that when you shift that, when you decide that you no longer want to struggle in that way, the universe is going to work with you to manifest that change. And that is really, really exciting and something that I really want for you. So this is today's very random, very choppy podcast of where we intentionally started to talk about struggle. And it continued to struggle. And I had to go to 3 different locations to continue filming this podcast. And that is what presented itself. That is what manifested. And perhaps for a good reason. For me to address the things of where in my life I am being faced struggle again and again and again in my environments, in my approach, in the energy I'm attracting, and what it is that I need to shift and change of myself, my beliefs, how I approach life, my actions, and the details of my environments and my reality, and in setting boundaries with people to help support that shift in my life and to better support the energy for this podcast that I really want to, be sharing with other people. So I hope that you enjoyed today's very unique podcast. And I hope that it brings some insight for you in where you feel like you're struggling in life, what's repeating in your life, and perhaps what's being continuously presented into your life, your reality, that needs to shift for you to experience an elevated change. And truly, that's my wish for you in whatever area of life that is. So keep shining, lovely beings. Know that I believe in you in your unique way, and pursue your dream. Yes, there will be challenge. Yes, there will be struggle. But if it's continuous struggle and it's leading you into a dysregulated nervous system, limited sense of finances, if it's leading you into manifesting connections and relationships that are leading you into heartache again and again, you're feeling unseen and unheard, you're not embodying self-love, if it's leading you to an experience in your reality and the embodiment of yourself, of what is undesired, it's inauthentic to you. It's not what you came here to experience. It's a lesson of some sort that you need to bring your awareness to come out of the struggle of that, to manifest something different, and to experience something elevated and beautiful. And that's truly my wish for you. So keep shining, lovely beings, and know that I believe in you.